Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for Solana. Now this is my primary count here on the daily that we're currently in our third wave, completing our third of the third, which could be in, or we might need one more high for our third of the third. I'm going to show you that on the micro, but if we do get that, I would actually expect extensions for these waves. And I'm going to show you that down on the 4 hour. That's this current wave here, which is our third wave. Now, originally last video, I'm expecting this fourth wave to the downside between $60 and $85 before our fifth wave of the third. But there is a way we get an extension up, one more wave to the upside. Ideal targets for that extension would be 135 on linear. We have to go with log, which is 135. I want to show you how that can actually get extended. And what would happen is our fifth of the third here in the third would just get moved up one more level, just so you don't get taken by surprise here. I'm going to go down to the hourly and show you how that could happen. And I'm also tracking this correction in real time here. So clearly we're getting extended in this last wave, pulled from this 1-2 pivot after this running flat here as a WXY. But starting with our last wave here, which is our fifth of the third, we had a 1-2. We extended all the way past the 2.618 extension. And I'm wondering if we end up going all the way to, I think, the 3.618. We'll see where that sits. No, we're not getting, or the 3.236. Yeah, that would line up a little bit here. Before getting, we might get this last move before getting that move down between $60 and $80. And how that would change, let me just get rid of this one, just to make it a little simpler here. And how that would change is if this ends up being a expanded flat right here. As you can see, we have good separation, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our third. 4, 5, but it was such a short wave compared to this 2 that I'm wondering if this is all the third wave. And if that is the case, the way we would count this third wave is 1, 2, 3, 4. This would have to be a flat rather than a triangle. This would be a leading diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. And that would be our third here, and we just potentially finished our fourth here, and we get our fifth wave of the fifth of the third up at around 135. I'm actually starting to think that's the primary count, just again the size of this wave, and it can be counted as a 5-wave move rather than completed as a fifth. But both scenarios are open at the moment, but I started considering that option just because of this last corrective move we got here. Now going back to that, the areas we would want to hold for this to be a setup is between the 236 and the 382, and the absolute stop at the 50 of this third wave. Get those pivots exactly. And we'll throw those on. 236, 382, stop at the 50. So you can see that comes into this previous area. We've also already ticked off the top of this potential fourth wave of the third. We're through the 236. Let's see where we are on linear. We're just near the 50. So we'd use log on this one. So you can get rid of that one. So right at the 382, we would expect a pivot here. So if this is the setup to the upside and we get this move to the upside, how would that look? It looks like we already have a pretty deep retracement. So this would have to turn into some sort of zigzags correctively to the upside. There's most likely a ending diagonal where we get an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. And then we collapse to the downside, which would just be a ending diagonal as such. So keeping an eye on that to potentially top. As you can see, the upside is still limited even with this bullish scenario. And alternatively, we want to hold this high if this count is to be most likely to happen. Probabilities would shift that it is topped as soon as we break this level here at the 50. So it's something to keep in mind. It's a pretty nice setup if you decide to take that. I'm not going to take it at the moment, but you can see it's about a 5-to-1 with the stop at that previous low. If you want to be a little more safe, you'd take it from here, put the stop just past the 50 or below this pivot here of the 4th, and you'd actually get just over a 2-to-1 risk reward. But this looks like 3 waves, most likely a WXY, double zigzag combinations here for an A wave. This can be counted either way, but looks as either a leading diagonal or a 3 wave. Again, very complex structures currently happening here. But I'm more interested in either the short up here, or if we start getting a sell-off from this area. I'll show you the other pattern I'm tracking. If we get a move to the upside here, I might be looking for a short in this area if I get a setup like this. And I'd be looking for a short something like this, targeting the 1-to-1. It just depends how clean these waves are. To take an entry, I like to see a really clean setup so I can get confident with the wave count. But if this is a 3 wave, we'd want to see at least come to the 70 there at 116.77 for a B wave in a flat pattern. That's the minimum requirement to be a flat. And if we came up shy, I pulled the pivots off this first wave and just came to the 1-to-1, we would expect 3 waves down to the 1-to-1 here at about $87. Difference between hitting that 70% retracement of this wave down or the 618 is we'd expect 3 waves if we don't hit the 70 and 5 if we go above the 70. Minimum requirement for a flat, so otherwise we'd expect a complex correction to the downside. So those are the 2 scenarios I'm looking at now. Either a choppy ending diagonal, in which case I'd be interested in a short after the fact, or if we get a move up to here and we get a clean 5 to the downside, I might take the short retrace as an ABC, but I want it to be a very clean pattern to get confident in that trade. And going off last video, if this is the actual top and we move these over here, I would just expect this to be the first wave in a larger correction. Let me go out to the 4-hour and show you what I mean. If the top of the 3rd is here, I would expect this to turn into a 3-wave move, correction to the upside, 3-wave move, or a combination of those down between the 236 and 382, again between $60 and $85 before I'd be looking for that upside, and to stay above this flat pattern here. Obviously, anything below that area, probabilities shift significantly. and ideally want to stay within this pitchfork here. You see off the bottom of the 1 to the top of the 1 off the 2. Want to stay within that pitchfork. So we'll see what ends up happening here, tracking both those scenarios. Currently not really a good trade setup except for the long currently, but because this wave retraced so much, nothing says it has to be moved to the upside. This is where Elliott Wave can be helpful. You can see this could actually be a running flat right here, ABC. This could be a 1, 2, and we just fall. But either way, I don't see a nice trade setup at the moment. Kind of neutral, whether we go up or down. But if we do go up from here, I'd expect it to be a ending diagonal pattern. All right, guys, that's it for Solana. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more updates.